Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the best mods of the week in Baldur's Gate 3's Mod Manager. This was a very high quality week. We got 30 different mods to break down here. First, starting off with the Drake Warden Ranger subclass. This is an update to the 5e Ranger subclass combined that was released earlier this year. This is a class mod that I really enjoy because who doesn't want to sling arrows and have a dragon companion alongside them? Now, this is a class mod that I could talk about for a very long time, so expect some future videos on this. And if you want to see all the implementation and how this works, you can check out on the mod.io page here. There's actually a link that they have that'll take you to the Drake Warden implementation. Sumer Dagnauth has done a lot of great work adapting the rule set into a video game setting like Baldur's Gate 3 from D&D. So yeah, you can see all the different rules as written and abilities there. One thing that's really cool is at level 7, you get the ability to use the Drake mount, which allows you to ignore difficult terrain by using your dragon to get around. And we also have the Bond of Fang and Scale here, which allows you, your dragon will also get larger in size, get additional 1d6 of a chosen element damage type, and you become immune to that damage type, or you become resistant, I should say, to that damage type. You get your choices of dragons here, and you just summon it in. Once again, hit level 7, you get a larger size one and continue to grow at level 15 as well, and it continues to get more abilities as you level up. So the dragon has the ability to hover around there, and I find if you've used the purple dragon egg, which I highly recommend, you'll know how their dragons work. It's a really good one, and again, I'm going to do a future video on this. And you know, it goes great with a cold dragon, the Frost King progressive equipment set here by Skirby. Now, one amazing thing about this is there's no external shaders or extended scripts to ensure console compatibility, and it's a nice no-name Frost King. As you can see, a very beautiful armor set here, and the weapons look incredible too. It's got that cool VFX. There's a multiple versions of these weapons and armors, much like other Skirby mods. And each of these does come with a bunch of abilities here, which I'll just mouse over here. It does have progressive upgrades and spells that you do get. Now, if you find those to be a bit powerful, you can just remove them. You don't have to use them. They're just there, and they're very thematic, which I think is nice. So you can see all those different abilities. And the weapon itself comes with some different things. You got like a Frost Smite there. You can fire Death Bolts. Wall of Ice, Splash Zone, Death and Decay, Frost Step, and Howling Blast. So you get a bunch of really fun abilities. And what's cool about this is if you were to play like on a very high difficulty mode, you could like attach this to the fighter and have a really cool Death Knight or Eldritch Knight fighter, Paladin, you name it. You can do some really cool stuff with just the base game classes even. That's one thing I really appreciate about these progressive equipment mods. But yeah, it's a generic Frost King. That's what it is. No other inspiration here, just a Frost King. No icy cool dragon. That is the Frost King progressive equipment set by Skirby. This is the most requested armor mod, by the way. But next up, we have the Fiend Hunter class mod here by Christic Knight. So with the Fiend Hunter here, you get special infernal arts like the Piercing Arrow there, Entangling Arrow, Bola Shot, Caltrop Shot, and Flurry of Knives. These use special hatred charges here. Now, there's actually a lot of stuff going on with this class. I don't want to take up too much time with these class mods. I will be doing a future best class mod, new class mods video. So yeah, you can see all the stuff that goes on with this one. Very well done mod. Love a good cat companion here, as well as elemental arrow type. So if you're looking for something that's ranged and has 3 different classes, subclasses here, this is a one to check out. And next up, we also have another great class mod here with the Moonveil Sorcerer custom subclass mod here by HDTDT, a fun thematic class based on Eilistraee here. So blessed by the Dark Maiden, your magic carries her gentle light. When you cast a lunar spell, its radiance dispels all darkness within 8 meters where it lands, illuminating the shadows. And you get a bunch of unique spells here that you can see. So things like Lunar Storm, Moon Fireball, Last Dance, Dark Maiden's Dance. I'm a big fan of anything cold damage and also radiant damage. This is fun and lots of great gear in the game to help proc different radiating orbs and ice surfaces for something like this. I'm also a Magic Sorcerer fan, so this will be in a future video as well. I'm a big fan of this one. I hope everyone had a good Halloween, and we have the Dancing Bone Drum mod here by Aeilistraee Fel next. I love this. This is what modding is all about, and these are the kind of mods that I really enjoy, and this is what you saw at the start of the video with all that whimsy. Now this gives you a drum that lets you summon in different characters. There's been mods like this a year ago, and I've always been a huge fan of them just because of all the silliness that you can get. Great for photo modes, and I love a good skeleton, spooky, scary skeletons. Now, this brings in a bag here that you can equip, and there's versions that have different summons. So here we got the Dead 3, so you can use this one. And yeah, it's pretty funny, as you can imagine. So yeah, it gives you some different drums here. So yeah, this mod is just good fun, and as you can see there, you can get your whole group to do the Thriller dance. So yeah, Dancing Bone Drums. And next up, we got the Combat Encounters Random Spawns, Lite here by Gabe Camomescro. Now what this does is it's like a cleaner later version of the random spawns. This is a mod that I really like, and it almost adds like if you want Trials of Tav without having to obviously download the mod. And if you're on console, this thing is a it works for console players, and it's a really fun one. It just makes enemies spawn in at random. Now, what's cool about it is you can kind of tell from their learning of the toolkit and how it works. They actually changed some of the code, so it's a little bit different from their other one, a little bit more lightweight. Really like seeing stuff like this. So another combat encounters mod here. And next up, we got Innate Sorcery here by Fuyu 1066. Now, this has a lot of changes. It brings it to the 5th edition rule set, updates all the 4 subclasses in the game, updates relevant items, and there are some different changes. Like if you have Norbite script extender, this allows you to get the meta magic changes. The expansion allows you to get your level cap up to level 20. So if you things like Mistress spells or even the spells of Exandria, you do get access to those in this mod. These are, of course, mods that come from Nexus mods, so you may not use them, but you can see here, there's many changes. I will be doing a video, I think, talking about all the different mods that change your classes and subclasses in the game to update them to the newer Player's Handbook. As you know, Baldur's Gate 3 came out before the Player's Handbook update, so it's using an older rule set, and some people are more comfortable with the newer rule set, especially if you're a fan of D&D. So yeah, I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. They typed out a lot of stuff here with all the different changes, level 20 support for all the classes. This is really incredible to see. So yeah, big Sorcerer fan. Innate Sorcery, the 5th edition 2024 rule set by Fuyu 1066. Incredible job here. Next up, we got the Leathers of the Vagabond by Volno here. Now, this is what my characters are wearing. I'm not sure what's happening, but it's just showing as black and I can't dye it, so I might be having an issue with my load order. I have a lot of mods on the go right now, so that does lead to some issues sometimes. Shadowheart has a version of this on as well here now, so you can see there's a camp clothing version. I think these outfits are pretty nice, so I just want to highlight these here. Always on the lookout for cool new armors. And I'll just show you what their images look like because this is more accurate to what it should look like. And I think these all look really nice. So there it is on the different companions. You got the model there, and there's a different version with some leather there. Yeah, Leathers of the Vagabond. Another evolved mod here by Exxon with the Flind Evolved. Now, they have a lot of these. This is a really cool one. It's for the Dark Urge, and add them as a summon, which is awesome. The Flind fight is a brutal one sometimes in honor mode, and I love to see this. It's a chaotic, reckless, and unpredictable summon, just as confused as the Dark Urge with the whole tadpole situation. So for those that want to go through with a modded Dirge playthrough, this is a really cool one that I highly recommend. There's all the instructions on how to get this, the class and progression, and yeah, you can see here, it's a progressive mod like the rest of their other ones. Incredible job with all of these. Again, I'll be doing a future video breaking down all their different evolved mods. I highly recommend them as they add some really nice stuff to all the different summons in the game. You can see all of them all here. Now, I love photo mode. AkELkA and Cays cute couple poses here by AkELkA brings a bunch more poses into the game. So you can see these here. You got a few different ones for body type 1 and body type 2. So you can go with these. You got Boop. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones here that you can combine with different characters. And these are just great for photo mode. I'm someone that spends multiple hours a week in photo mode, so these are incredible. I'm always happy to see more. And as you can see, you can put them together and they look awesome. So there's the Smitten for body type 1 and 2 on my characters there. Yeah, there's 25 different ones for body type 1 and 2 there, and it's part of the compatibility patch for photo mode mod. It says to only use this one in your load order. I'm using multiple right now, and I was able to see all mine. So your mileage may vary as usual with mods. And next up, we got ourselves the Way of Steel and Armored Monk here by the Wailing Bard. So yeah, another incredible monk subclass. I previously did a build for the Ruffian strength-based rogue here by the Wailing Bard, but now we got ourselves the Way of Steel. This is a beefier, more defense-focused monk subclass by so many robots here, and it does have some synergy with any grappling mods if you're someone that uses those, and it comes with a bunch of different features here. You get up to heavy armor proficiency, and you still cannot use shields. And yeah, it's more so focused on being defensive. You can deflect attacks for free at level 17. You can increase your overall temporary health, add bonuses to armor class, wisdom modifier to AC when you're wearing armor and not wearing a shield. So yeah, if you're looking for a tanky monk, which is a cool hybrid because monks are typically very burst damage with the open hand monk rogue thief combo being crazy. I'm happy to see different balanced monk subclasses. So here we go. The Way of Steel Armored Monk by the Wailing Bard. And we also got some nice quality of life, or just, I guess, changes. I'm a huge fan of Luminous armor. This adds in a Luminous half plate. Now, the half plate, I think, is one of the better green armors in the game. It doesn't get a lot of love, but this one now allows you to have it with the same buffs as Luminous armor, which is arguably one of the best armors in the entire game, and it's green rarity, so very cool stuff. Love this by Why Not 87, because why not? I think this is awesome. And next, we got Summon Sceleritas Fel, and this is by Constant XP here. So yeah, if you want to still keep being able to summon in the Butler, you can, and you can still talk to him as if he's in your camp at any time. They don't have any voice actor attached, or voiceover attached, but the ring is called the Crippler's Ring. You summon him in. It's in the tutorial chest, and obviously you play as the Dark Urge. If you want to get maximum enjoyment out of this mod, it goes well with the other Dark Urge mod, Flind Evolved, that I mentioned previously. And next up, we got the Better Bursting Sinew. Now, I like the idea of this cantrip, but if you try to use it, you'll know that the deck save is really easy for the goblins early game to save on. So you have the same issue as Shadowheart does with her Sacred Flame with never hitting it. And we actually have a mod for that in a moment. But this one now changes it over to an attack roll, ranged spell attack roll, and the piercing damage is now considered magical. So this is great. I think this is how it should be all along, in all honesty. So yeah, T McCormick 031, great job with this mod. And next up is the Necromancer Command Undead. This is now a level 14 spell, which lets you control an undead, similar to what the Oathbreaker Paladin does, but better. And they're still working on making some different updates to it, which I think is nice. So Amenador made this incredible mod here for those that are fans of the Necromancer. And again, perfect timing right around Halloween. So very cool stuff. It did just go live November 2nd, I guess. So a little bit after Halloween, but great for, I guess, next Halloween too, or anyone that wants to enjoy, obviously, the Necromancer Wizard. And next up is the Arachnophobia mod by Game Kevin Mescro. So this mod will change any creature within 32 meters of the avatar that is tagged as a spider or has spider drider in the name into a beast you previously killed that is not a spider and a drider. Also part of their fun pack mod here, and I've talked about this last week, an incredible mod that groups a bunch of their mods together with console in mind. So again, shout out to Gabe Kevin Mescro for putting something like this together. I think it's awesome. And next up is the Elemental Giants Barbarian subclass mod. So this adds 4 Barbarian subclasses: the Storm Giant, Hill Giant, Frost Giant, and Fire Giant, which are unique rages, gain powerful passive and elemental attacks. This mod by Lingler here is awesome. As a fan of the Giant Barbarian, I think this kind of carves its own path here that kind of feels somewhat like the Storm Herald Barbarian from 5th edition. So yeah, this adds in some new cantrips here. The Leaping Flame Blade cantrip, which will add damage equal to charisma modifier and burn the target. And you can actually do a free action, burn another target. Depending on the class that you choose, you get a bunch of different abilities here, and you can check these all out. I think this is a really great mod, so definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of Barbarian. And next up, we got the Anvil by Unique Vessel. This is a cool one. So this is about, obviously, modded difficulty. It's a little bit powerful, or extremely overpowered, as they say. This is like a light hammer-focused class that's meant to fight around with those. It adds 1d8 thunder damage to your attacks. You can jump around, and it's kind of like a booming blade kind of jump. You got the Anvil's Fury here, allowing you to hit 5 enemies in front of you to add 2d8 thunder damage and knock them away. You got Immovable Force, cannot be moved against your will. Armor Defense, add 1 AC while wearing heavy armor. The Anvil's Rage adds 2d8 thunder damage onto your weapon attack. So yeah, it does get pretty powerful with the amount of thunder that you get, but it's a cool one, especially if you want to play as a dwarf and have something feel thematic. Do you see these cool butterflies here? Well, you can have these yourself with the Butterflies and Dragonflies mod by Kira May. So this adds 2 new spells, and 1 to summon a ring of butterflies that follow you until long rest, and 1 that does the same for Dragonflies. So you'll see here on your bar, you get the Flutterby Butterflies and the Dance of the Dragonflies. So you just apply the spell to yourself. They'll summon in these different Dragonflies and Butterflies. Really cool, and thank you to Kira May for sharing this in my Discord. I think this is an awesome mod. Always a fan of things like this, and this is great too for if you want to play as a Swarm Keeper Ranger, which add in patch 8, and have an extra swarm that I think just looks and feels great for the class. So yeah, Butterflies and Dragonflies by Kira May. And next up, we got Ezuneo's Face and Horns and Feathers by Ezuneo. Now this, as what you can see right here, these cool feathers around the face, or you can go with the horns there. Perfect. You want to go for a Draconic Sorcerer, or really anything, a Druid, you name it. It looks awesome. I wanted to show these horns off, but I'm having some issues with it, but it does add in 7 sets of horns and 9 sets of horns at the cheek of the jaw area. I may cover this in a future video because I was planning on doing a video on like different horns and type of mods like that, as there's a lot of them out there, and this is just another great one. And next up, we got the Reworked Circle of Stars Druid mod by Alex12213669. Nice. This makes some changes to the Star Druid and brings some of the different forms up to their other forms, like the Dragon form, which is obviously the most powerful one. This now makes the Luminous Arrow much better, because obviously it's better to hit the Dragon Breath on multiple enemies than it is to use a single Luminous Arrow and pick away at enemies with that, unless you have nobody nearby. This now adds a blinding effect to the arrow and a dazing effect, which makes this a disadvantage on wisdom saves for those commands and hold person. Can't use reaction, lose that dex bonus to armor class. Blinding the target also makes their attacks close range, and then attacks against will advantage. Obviously, that is pretty powerful, and it combos well as a support, but I think that's nice, and it gives the Circle of Stars Druid a very powerful lane in how it operates. There's also a lot of different changes. You get the Starry Archer Strike, which allows you to kind of do something similar to the Divine Strike from the Cleric, and a bunch of other changes here, making the Chalice form a lot more powerful, because obviously healing in Baldur's Gate kind of sucks, but this makes it much better. So yeah, again, if you wanted to play a Circle of the Stars Druid and have some powerful new, well, not even powerful, just balanced new abilities, this is great. And next up is the Fleshforged GB Subraces Gem Dragonborn patch by AkELkA. So they make a lot of great Dragonborn class mods or appearance mods. If you're looking to play as a Dragonborn, I recommend just going through AkELkA's entire library of mods, download them all, look for what your favorites are, and then use those mods and just uninstall the rest of them, because they seriously put out such straight heat. You can see all these incredible mods that they have. I use the crazy color pack in every single one of my videos. It's my favorite just because it applies to all characters, giving you cool colors, but this brings in some Gem Dragonborns, because it patches the previous mod they have there. So yeah, this does have it as a dependency in the Fleshforged Body CC creator. I also have the Fleshforged Platinum Dragonborn patch mod here too. Again, I just want to give them a big shout out for all the awesome stuff that they do. So worth checking it out, especially if you're a big Dragonborn fan. Now we got War Magic 2024 here by the Real Zero. So this implements a War Magic feature from the Player's Handbook 2024. Now, what I love best about this is it adds to one of my favorite subclasses that was added with patch 8 with the Blade Singing Wizard, but it also is added to the Valor Bard, which I think needs some form of difference from the Sword Bard, and this is exactly the way to do it. This actually brings the Valor Bard up to being as good as a Sword Bard. I love this change personally, but this, whenever you make an attack on your turn, you can replace one of the attacks with casting a cantrip, and that has a casting time of an action. So yeah, you basically can swap in an attack and then do a cantrip as well, giving you some pretty cool versatility in combat. Works great for the Valor Bard and the Blade Singing Wizard. Awesome mod here by the Real Zero. And next up is the Better Sacred Flame. So this allows it to use an attack roll. This is what I was talking about earlier with the change to the Bursting Sinew. This changes Sacred Flame to allow it to hit for real now. And this also does additional 1d8 radiant damage to fiends and undead. Very balanced, and I think this just better makes it so that Shadowheart doesn't miss everything all the time. And great mod. Finally, we got ourselves the Be My Bhaalentine Romances Can Be Abducted by Necromancer. Now, every mod Necromancer makes, I think, is awesome. This is a cool one because what it does is it makes it so that your romance companions can be kidnapped by Orin. It's no different, like it can still only be Lae'zel, Gale, Halsin, or Minthara, but this adds some real urgency to the game that I think is really cool. So Be My Bhaalentine, yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, another incredible week for mods in Baldur's Gate 3. Let me know your favorite in the comments. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hit the subscribe button below if you did, and we'll catch you all in the next video.